Hi there. Welcome to the newest edition of the Arts Overlook. I'm your host, Ian Goldsmith. As always, our mission is to highlight the blooming arts and entertainment of the Cedar Valley. In this episode, we recap the recent event Artapalooza and also learn more about one of its incredible artists. We also provide coverage of the new piece of public art recently installed on Main Street. This very art-centered episode of the Arts Overlook starts right now.
Art is thriving in the Cedar Valley. It's everywhere. But if you don't know where to look, you could miss it. This is your local arts perspective. This is the Arts Overlook.
The annual Cedar Falls Main Street event, Artapalooza, took place this year on Saturday, September 7th. The weather was blazing hot for the event, so it's a good thing that all of the art was so cool. Cedar Falls TV's Bridgett Reidy provides us with coverage of the event.
Every year, Community Main Street helps sponsor Artapalooza, where family members of all ages are welcome to come on down and check out what the local artists have to offer. From scarves and jewelry to pottery and stained glass windows, Artapalooza seems to have it all. John Schneckloth, who now lives in Charles City but a native to Cedar Falls, is one of the many artists that participated at this year's Artapalooza. John creates handmade pottery and tells us how he got started.
I'm a retired art teacher and I've been doing clay since I was in college here at Cedar Falls in the early 70s, and graduated from here with a teaching degree with an emphasis in ceramics. Did a lot of stoneware work for several decades, and then about 25 years ago I decided to switch over. Instead of doing stoneware, I now do what is called raku pottery.
Well, raku pottery is certainly not an easy task. John explains the process of going from ordinary clay to beautiful pieces of art.
The pieces are fired fairly quickly. It takes me about an hour and a half to fire a pot, and I take it out of the kiln at 1800 degrees and put it in a metal container with some newspapers, and it immediately ignites, and then I smother it. And so the result is that I've taken away the oxygen and I've got a whole bunch of carbon, and the carbon penetrates the clay and turns it black wherever there's no glaze. So wherever there's a glaze, it pulls the oxygen out of it and helps produce the metallic colors that you see on the pieces now.
That sounds like a complex process to make such amazing pottery. John usually participates in 3 to 4 art shows a year, but this year he decided to narrow those options down to just one, and Artapalooza was his choice.
Artapalooza is like a lot of other art shows, but there's some differences. People treat you really nice here, and if they don't receive your registration because you were here last year, they call you up and ask you, why aren't you coming back? They treat you well with some special treats during the day. They're here early in the morning and they'll help you set up if you need some help, if you're by yourself, and they check on you during the day too as well.
It certainly sounds like the people behind the scenes do a lot of work to make this possible. Carol Lilly, who is the director of Community Main Street, tells us what they try to do in order to cater to the participating artist.
We have established a good reputation with the artists. We provide, we feel like, good customer service to them. We appreciate them being here and taking the time to be part of our show. It is a juried show, so they do have to apply and be selected to be in the show based on our limited space and the size that we think is good for the community. But we offer an opportunity for them to give us their feedback, and we survey them and find out what they would like to see the next year. And usually we really try hard to incorporate that into our planning for the years to follow.
Looks like everything on Main Street was strategically planned out, from the businesses offering kit events to how everything is set up. Carol reminds us that there are many helping hands in the process of making this Artapalooza possible.
Yeah, we have great partnerships. We have the merchants provide children's activities, and one of the things that we really think that we offer is a variety for everyone. There's a price point, from low price points all the way to some really high-end opportunities for artists to participate as well. And we have fun activities for the kids. We make it a family affair. We partner with the First Center. They provide some children's activities, and it's just a really fun day, and it's a good partnership and brings in a lot of people outside the community as well.
Overall, it seemed that this 8th annual Artapalooza was a huge success, with how many people came down to Main Street to check it out. If you've missed this year's, don't worry, Artapalooza will be back next year, always providing new and exciting activities for the family and more art to admire and even purchase.
Thanks, Bridgett. Many of the great artists at Artapalooza come back year after year, and some of them have even built up a reputation. One artist who has arguably one of the best reputations is Cedar Falls native Honor Heindl. I enjoyed getting to sit down with Honor to learn more about her backstory, her passions, and her photography. Honor Heindl has been doing her own photography since high school, which began with journalism and yearbook. She started college at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago to study photography, but she soon decided to transfer to Bethel University in Minnesota to major in reconciliation studies. Honor has been completely self-taught in photography, which makes her work that much more impressive.
I think there's a lot of value in learning it formally and learning all the specific mechanics and how your camera works. That's really important actually, but I think it's also kind of cool to be able to do it without all of those I don't know, just having this formula to get a shot. Rather, I don't know, it makes it kind of more, I think it's more fun sometimes.
Ever since Honor began doing photography, she has had a presence at the annual Cedar Falls event, Artapalooza.
I've been doing Artapalooza for this will be my 7th year, and I don't really know how I got into it. I don't know if my mom's been a really good, I don't know, she supports and kind of pushes me into a lot of things in a good way. And so I think she probably showed or told me I should apply to this. And yeah, it's been a really cool experience. It's built a cool network of people, and I've gotten to see meet a lot of different artists around the area too. And so it's been really neat.
Honor's favorite part of Artapalooza is getting to share her work with others.
Getting to see the feedback or reactions of people and how they respond to my work, and yeah, just what it evokes in them, I guess, is probably the coolest thing. I mean, part of photography is for myself, but I also want to share it with other people, and so it's really cool being able to see it affect them as well.
In addition to her passion for photography, Honor has a passion for traveling.
I grew up in Nepal. My parents were missionaries there, and so I've always kind of had this, I don't know, passion for different countries, different cultures, and just learning from them and growing from them. And so I decided to do YWAM, Youth with a Mission, and it's kind of an international community. There's a bunch of bases all over the world. And I went to Australia and India for 6 months, and I don't know, it was really cool being able to use photography in India. We did a lot of stuff in the slums, just programs, playing with the kids, hanging out with them. And I got to take a bunch of pictures of them and their families, because we went to the specific one numerous times, and we got to kind of build relationships with them. And at the end of the 3 months, I printed out a bunch of photos and gave them to them, and it was something that they had never had a photo of themselves before, their children. And so that was a really cool thing, and I was like, I would love to do that somehow for the rest of my life. I don't know, just being able to show people, I don't know, their beauty. Like
most photographers, Honor believes that photography is a form of art, and that a good picture means much more than just using a good camera.
I also think there is something, you can take good pictures with bad cameras too, and at the same time you can also take bad pictures with really good cameras. I don't know, maybe it's about, how you're looking at it rather than the equipment you're using. It also gives you a different perspective. I think it can provide a lot of different vantage points, which it can be really enlightening or inspiring or, just revealing in a lot of different ways.
So what does Honor enjoy most about her work as a photographer?
Just getting those spontaneous moments, I guess. Those things that I don't plan or try to set up. Because I mean, with doing weddings and engagement photos and all that stuff, I mean, you kind of have to pose people to an extent, but the candids are always the best thing. The most real and authentic, so. A lot of them, I love having the human element somehow in my photos. The little pieces of gold or magic, I don't know, in those otherwise kind of just normal moments. Being able to capture that beauty and being able to help people realize that or see that in themselves.
For the Arts Overlook, I'm Ian Goldsmith. Whether Honor ends up incorporating photography as part of her career or not, I know that her talent will always be admired by me and by many others. If you would like to learn more about her photography, visit Honor Heindl Photography on Facebook. You can also look forward to seeing Honor featured in an upcoming special edition of the Arts Overlook known as the Art of Photography. Our final art story of this episode covers the installation of the newest piece of public art in Cedar Falls, located in front of Oster Regent Theater on Main Street. We take it back to Bridgett Reidy to learn more.
Tuesday, August 27th, the Oster Regent Theater broke ground for their new donation received recently called Showtime. Showtime is a bronze sculpture that was gifted to the Oster Regent Theater, which will be a part of the public art collection in Cedar Falls. This gift comes from the Blair family, who used to own the theater downtown. Dan Perry, who's the president of the Cedar Falls Public Art Committee, tells us about the meaning behind the statue.
It's in reference to the Blair family and their passion for movies, and at the time in history the theater was at once a movie theater, so it's actually of a figure using an old-fashioned movie camera.
Award-winning Thelma Warish created this intriguing piece of art, who now works and lives in Loveland, Colorado. Showtime is definitely another beautiful addition to the artwork around Cedar Falls. As you can see, there's a plaque engraved onto the camera of Showtime. It reads, Merle R. Blair, who bought the theater in 1921 and promoted movies through a variety of innovative ideas. He went on to not only manage the theater for many years, but in 1991, the Blair family and Beck Trust gifted the building to the Cedar Falls Community Theater. More than 20 years later, his children donated this statue to the Oster Regent Theater in remembrance of him, using the Parents' Trust Fund. But why is this gift so significant to the theater?
We generally don't get gifts of this size, as far as not necessarily scale, but also just value. To do something bronze cast like this, it's quite a bit of money, and usually donations don't come like that very often. As far as within the rest of the public artwork collection, it fits in nicely because it's a figurative piece. Most of our other work is actually a little more formally based or abstract in nature, so it adds a nice sort of counterpoint to everything else, and it fits in well downtown, especially out in front of the theater. It sits very well with the rest of the collection.
This is a grand gesture because this bronze statue that you see is valued to be around $125,000. Although the sculpture is now set in place right outside the Oster Regent Theater, is there any dedication that we can look forward to?
Sunday, September 22nd, 3 p.m. there will be a dedication ceremony where the Blair family will be in town, and there will be a presentation, an acceptance of the gift by Mayor John Cruz. There'll be a little speech by the Blair family, as also as Leon Nichols from the Oster Regent Theater, and myself. And then there will also be guided public art tours of the collection downtown.
So mark your calendars for this dedication to learn the true meaning behind this piece of art, and come downtown to Cedar Falls to check it out and take pictures with the newest addition to the city's artwork.
Thanks, Bridgett. Again, don't miss the dedication ceremony for Showtime on Sunday, September 22nd at 3 p.m. Showtime is just the newest installation in a wide collection of public art that graces Cedar Falls. In the future, Arts Overlook and Cedar Falls Television will provide a detailed look at all of Cedar Falls public art. Until then, I'm Ian Goldsmith, and thank you for watching.